Welcome to the 14th Annual Gold Derby TV Awards nominations. I'm not Anna Klumsky, but maybe I'll do. I'm Chris Beachum. This is Marcus Dixon.
Hello.
We're editors here with Gold Derby, and we've been really enjoying watching the results as they've been coming in over the last few weeks. And now we've got all of the nominees in 30 categories. And Marcus, you may not even be aware of this, but as I've entered all these in to get the Prediction Center event ready, only one category out of the 30, and we'll tell you which one it is later on, is exactly the same as the Emmys. Just one.
Well, I know you and our other editor, Daniel Montgomery, you guys like to see the results come in, but I do not. So when we're reading the nominees today, this is the first time I'm getting to know who the nominees are as well. So I'm kind of excited.
Well, I was excited to see that. Now, I'm not saying that they're not 75% the same as the Emmys. I don't know what the percentage is, but in terms of actual categories, there's only one out of the 30 that's exactly the same. So I think our people really reached out to all of our voters are just passionate television viewers and or people in the industry or wherever they're from, and they really want to reward shows that maybe didn't get in at the Emmys or things that they're passionate about. We only allow people to pick 3 nominees in a category, which means they really have to think about strategy and what do they love, and they're not just putting filler nominees in, that's for sure.
And then when it comes time for the winners, they only pick one, right?
Yes, the Prediction Center, you can go there as soon as we're done with this. I'll activate the event, and you can make your selections in every category. But you only get to pick one. You can't rank. You can't make multiple selections. You just pick your favorite for every category. So that makes that a lot more passionate as well. So are you ready?
Yes, let's go ahead.
All right, let's start with animation. The nominees for Best Animated Program are Archer, Bob's Burgers, BoJack Horseman, Family Guy, The Simpsons, and South Park. And that's somewhat different than the Emmys. I know BoJack was not in at the Emmys. Family Guy, I don't think is in this year. And we allow 6 here. Most of our categories are 6. We'll let you know, except for a drama series, comedy series, those are 7. And not a lot to talk about on animation. It's a lot of years. It's almost the same group with us for animation. It's like those are the favorites for our website.
Last year's winner was BoJack Horseman. In case anyone cares, I'll be saying who won each category last year at the Gold Derby Awards. And yeah, I mean, this is a nice group. I don't really watch animated programs, but I know Charles Bright, one of our editors, is probably at home clapping in joy that some of these shows got in.
You've got reality next.
Yes, I do watch reality shows, though. I'm a huge reality fan. So let's start with a reality host. And the Gold Derby nominees are Alec Baldwin for Match Game, RuPaul Charles for RuPaul's Drag Race, Heidi Klum and Tim Gunn for Project Runway, Ellen Page and Ian Daniel for Gaycation, Jeff Probst for Survivor, and Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg for their potluck dinner special.
You've got to be really excited for Jeff, right?
Jeff's great. He deserves, you know, a million Emmys. He actually has 4, but it's weird. After he won his last Emmy, what, 5 or 6 years ago, he's been snubbed ever since. It's really weird, but he really deserves the prize, so I'm glad we got him nominated here.
Jeff and Ellen Page, Ian Daniel were not nominated at the Emmys, so that's where we differ there.
And then I'm going to go ahead to do reality competition program as well, and those 6 nominees are The Amazing Race, American Ninja Warrior, America's Got Talent, a lot of American shows there, RuPaul's Drag Race, Survivor, and The Voice. And last year's winner was actually RuPaul's Drag Race for us.
So we were ahead of the game, really, from last year.
It's true.
America's Got Talent and Survivor are different here. They're not nominated at the Emmys this year. Well, Variety is up next, and the Variety sketch series, we've got Billy on the Street, Documentary Now, Drunk History, Portlandia, Saturday Night Live, and Tracy Ullman Show. And if you're already observing, you realize that that is the category that's exactly the same as the Emmys, But that's, I mean, there aren't that many variety sketch series. There weren't that many even on the ballot. So the fact that it narrowed down to the same six isn't, I wouldn't say isn't all that shocking.
Right. I mean, that's these six. I mean, that's if any of those were snubbed, I would be questioning it. But those, I mean, how could you make a case for any other show to knock out one of those?
Mm-hmm.
And last
And
year we didn't have sketch. We kind of combined talk and sketch together. So this is really the first time
we did. We went a little bit more toward the Emmy structure this year. Variety Talk, speaking of that, we've got Full Frontal with Samantha Bee, Jimmy Kimmel Live, Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, Late Late Show with James Corden, Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, and that one is the one that's different from the Emmys this year, which has Bill Maher back yet again.
Hmm. And last year, our combined variety category was won by John Oliver, Last Week Tonight,
who also won the Emmy last year for the first time.
Mm-hmm. I have a lot of favorites in this category, but I think I might have to go with kind of an underdog choice. I don't know if I'm going to say it here on the chat, but.
Well, if somebody's just joining in, as we mentioned a moment ago, as soon as we're done, we'll launch the prediction event. It's not really predictions. You actually vote, but it'll be in the prediction center, and you can go ahead and mark your choices in all 30 of these categories.
So now we're going to do our first acting category. This is Movie Mini Supporting Actor. And the 6 nominees are Alfred Molina for Feud, Adam Scott for Big Little Lies, Alexander Skarsgård for Big Little Lies, Michael Stuhlbarg for Fargo, David Thewlis for Fargo, and Stanley Tucci for Feud. So it's 3 shows represented. Each show has a pair of guys. So no vote splitting. You can't vote split if there's only vote splitting possibilities.
That's right. It's not like the Emmys at all, especially in this category. Adam Scott and Michael Stuhlbarg are the 2 that are nominated here that weren't nominated at the Emmy Awards.
And last year's winner was Sterling K. Brown, who went on to win the Emmy as well. So I'm happy to say we kind of put Sterling on the map last year.
Way back in like January when we talked to him, I remember on the premiere red carpet, and we pushed him and promoted him, and we're so happy for him all those many months.
And then I'm also going to do supporting actress in the movie miniseries. The nominees are Judy Davis for Feud, Laura Dern for Big Little Lies, Jackie Hoffman for Feud, Gugu Mbatha-Raw for Black Mirror, Mary Elizabeth Winstead for Fargo, and Shailene Woodley for Big Little Lies. A couple changes there.
Yeah, Black Mirror and Fargo represented here, and they're not represented at the. But that's a really strong group, and it's as I've watched various threads over the last few months talking about these shows, and especially with Emmy nominations, people are going to go nuts over the Winstead nomination here. Because she got snubbed at the Emmys, and also the Black Mirror nomination here. A lot of people were hoping she would get in for that.
Right. And it's good to see Jackie Hoffman in there. And by the way, Mary Elizabeth Winstead came to our Gold Derby party. So it shows because she's nominated here today. But of course, it's not us voting. It's our thousands of readers that are voting.
And who won this one last year?
Jean Smart for Fargo, who lost the Emmy, actually, to Regina King.
She did. And I don't know if you remember this, Marcus. We talked to her on the red carpet going in, and we told her she was a lock. Don't worry about it. So, right. At least she won with us.
Yeah, and Regina King is not nominated with us this year for the final season.
That's right. That's right. I'm just realizing that. That's unusual because she was up for, I remember we saw her at a party and she was up for not only this category, but Performer of the Year last year.
And I think The Leftovers last year.
Mm-hmm, that's right. Well, in the lead categories for movie and miniseries, starting with actor, we've got Riz Ahmed for The Night Of, Benedict Cumberbatch for Sherlock the Lying Detective, Robert De Niro for The Wizard of Lies, Jude Law for The Young Pope, Ewan McGregor for Fargo, and John Turturro for The Night Of. And a fan favorite really in our forums has been Jude Law, so they're going to be excited to see him in here. He's not nominated at the Emmys.
Last year, the winner with us was Courtney B. Vance, and he also went on to win the Emmy.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, People versus OJ won more awards with us last year than any other show. I think it took him 5.
And did that practically everywhere it competed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wherever it was always the big winner. And then for actress, movie mini actress, we've got Carrie Coon for Fargo, Bryce Dallas Howard for Black Mirror, Jessica Lange for Feud, Nicole Kidman for Big Little Lies, Susan Sarandon for Feud, and Reese Witherspoon for Big Little Lies. Big difference here being Bryce Dallas Howard getting in.
We also snubbed Oprah, just like the Emmys did. How interesting.
We did. And who's missing here? Who got in at the end? Oh, Felicity Huffman. Yeah, American Crime did not do well with us at all.
I'm sure the cancellation didn't help it any, because the final season was really good. Last year's winner, I'm sure you've heard of her, Sarah Paulson. She won with us last year.
She won at a few places. She's gotten a whole new storage room for all the trophies.
Yeah, she bought a new house just for the trophies. So now we're gonna do TV movie, and 1, 2, 3, 4. We have only 5 nominees in this one, and only 5 only 5 for limited series as well. So the TV movie nominees are Black Mirror, and it's the San Junipero one. Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, Looking the Movie, Sherlock the Lying Detective, and The Wizard of Lies. I hear a lot of people screaming about Looking.
Daniel being one of them. That was one of his favorite. That was one of his favorites.
And then skipping ahead to limited series, American Horror Story Roanoke. Big Little.
You have to love that, right?
I loved that season. Big Little Lies, Fargo, Feud, Betty and Joan, and The Night of.
So just one difference there, and then Looking being the only difference on TV movie. Yeah, it was a really strong year for limited series and movies, so that's good to see that we were kind of on board most of the way with the Emmys. And Roanoke gets in here, but not a single acting nomination.
Wow, not even Kathy Bates. Wow.
Right. I think maybe there's only been one person in the history of the Gold Derby TV Awards, being Amy Poehler, that's been more popular than Sarah Paulson. She didn't get in here, so.
And last year we combined movie miniseries, and there was a tie. Fargo and People versus OJ tied for that big prize.
Very rare for a tie. And, I kept looking as I was putting together this list and our prediction center to see, if anybody had tied on the last notch, to give us a 7th acting nomination or something like that, we would have definitely put them in, but there were no ties in the last slot. So we're pretty straightforward all the way down the line. Moving on to comedy, we'll start out with the guest acting categories. Guest actor is Riz Ahmed for Girls, Dave Chappelle for SNL, Tom Hanks for SNL, Hugh Laurie for Veep, Peter McNichol for Veep, and Matthew Rhys for Girls. So again, no vote splitting because we got 2 Girls, 2 Veep, 2 SNL.
That's crazy. And last year's winner was a Veep guy, Martin Mull, who a lot of us thought would win the Emmy, but it went to Peter Scolari instead. I'm very happy to see Peter McNichol nominated here because, as you know, I was very upset that the Emmys snubbed him after last year's debacle when they had to take his nomination away from him.
They went out of their way this year, the producers, to make sure he did not go over. He didn't get nominated this time.
I think he was in 2 minutes of screen time.
Oh, the whole season?
Yeah.
Wow. Comedy guest, and that's one different than the Emmys. We've got Peter McNichol, and they've got Lin-Manuel Miranda there. So, comedy guest actress, Becky Ann Baker for Girls, Angela Bassett for Master of None, Carrie Fisher for Catastrophe, Melissa McCarthy for SNL, Maya Rudolph for Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and Sally Phillips for Veep. We've always been big on Kimmy Schmidt. Was it last year that 4 out of the 6 slots were Kimmy Schmidt nominees?
I'm looking now. Tina Fey won for this category, comedy guest. Jane Krakowski won. Titus Burgess won.
But 4 out of the 6 slots in guest, I think, last year, right, in Kimmy Schmidt.
Oh, you're right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, 4 of this
Wow.
category. Yeah.
So it's not a surprise to see Maya Rudolph there. She was very funny on there. And people in our forums were really pulling for Sally Phillips. And so that's good to see her get in for Veep.
Yeah, she's really funny on that show. Okay, so comedy supporting actor. And I just kind of spoiled it that Titus Bird just won last year. This year, 6.
Actually, he's won 2 in a row, both years for Kimmy Schmidt.
Can he make it 3? Because he is nominated again, along with Louis Anderson for Baskets, Alec Baldwin, SNL, Tony Hale for Veep, Brian Tyree Henry for Atlanta, and Timothy Simons for Veep.
A lot of people, I mean, they felt like this was Timothy Simons' best season, so they thought he might get into the Emmys, but he does get in here. And then Brian Tyree Henry had a phenomenal year, and a little bit surprising he didn't get into the Emmys, but here he is for the Gold Derby Awards.
Right, and he did get in for a different show, This Is Us, in the guest category. So he still gets to go and put on a tux.
Oh, sure.
Comedy supporting actress. Last year's winner, as I said, was Jane Krakowski. She is nominated again, as well as Anna Klumsky for Veep, Olivia Colman for Fleabag, Judith Light for Transparent, Kate McKinnon for Saturday Night Live, and Rita Moreno, One Day at a Time. So we have 1 SNL lady. The Emmys chose 3 with Leslie Jones and Vanessa Bayer.
It's one of our most different categories because the Emmys also have Catherine Hahn, who we don't have. So we've got 1, 2, 3 different here. So quite a difference from the Emmys.
Right.
And the Fleabag fans are going crazy right now. Comedy actor is Anthony Anderson for Blackish, Aziz Ansari for Master of None, Ted Danson for the really overlooked The Good Place, Donald Glover for Atlanta, Neil Patrick Harris, Series of Unfortunate Events, and Jeffrey Tambor for Transparent. So 2 really big differences here from what the Emmys have. Ted Danson and Neil, who's been a big supporter and fan of Gold Derby for forever.
I'm very happy to see Ted Danson there. Very underlooked show, as you said. Last year's winner, Jeffrey Tambor. So we'll see if he can win again. He may have won, 2 in a row. Unfortunately, I don't have the year before's in front of me to look.
Oh, and sorry, comedy actress. I'm just enjoying the moment. Quite different also in a couple of cases for us on Gold Derby Awards. Rachel Bloom for Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, Ellie Kemper for Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, Julia Louis-Dreyfus for Veep, Issa Rae for Insecure, Tracy Ellis Ross for Blackish, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge for Fleabag.
Another
So three differences there.
Rachel Bloom, Issa Rae, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Can you guess who last year's winner was?
I can kind of guess.
Julie Louis-Dreyfus. And by the way, she's won 5 in a row at the Emmys, and she's gearing up for number 6. She's tied with Candice Bergen right now, right, Chris? You know all of the records that she has.
5 for 1 role. That's correct. Candice and even Don Knotts and Ed Asner are all have 5 for 1 role. Julia passed Mary Tyler Moore and Candice last year for 5 in the category because remember she won 1 for Old Christine back. So she has 6 actually as lead actress.
Wow.
But she has not won that many here, and also at SAG Awards, she's not won as many for Veep as you think she has. I think it's only twice at the SAG Awards. So we haven't overdone it with her by any stretch.
Right. I remember Amy Poehler would always win with us year after year.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one category you're about to do that we have that the Emmys don't exactly have, and we won't list all the names, but we do one called comedy episode and then drama episode, where the honorees are the writer and director. So writers and director. So you've got that next.
Yes, I always love this category. So this year's 6 nominees are Atlanta. The episode is Ban, B-A-N. Blackish, the episode Lemons. Master of None for New York, I Love You. Master of None for Thanksgiving. Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt for Kimmy's Roommate Lemonades, the very popular Lemonade Beyonce episode. And Veep for the season finale Groundbreaking. And by the way, Veep won last year for the episode Mother. So we'll see if they can do it again.
And they had a couple in there last year, right?
They had, yeah, Mother and Kissing Your Sister.
So they won even with the vote splitting there. Master of None really, to me, did really well here. They got 2 out of the 6. That's very difficult.
Mm-hmm. And I would say, we like to talk a lot about vote splitting, but if an episode is so strong like Thanksgiving was, I don't really think there's going to be a vote splitting. If who's going to vote for New York, I Love You when you have Thanksgiving right sitting there next to it?
Right. If they want to go Master of None, they'll go there.
Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna go with another one there, but I'm not gonna tell anyone what it is.
I think people that know me know which one I'm going to select.
Oh, probably Lemonade.
Well, I'm not going to say.
Okay, comedy series. This is the big one, and there's 7 nominees this year, as there was last year. And by the way, last year's winner was, I'm scrolling up, Veep. And Veep returns this year to the race along with Atlanta, Blackish, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, Fleabag, Master of None, and Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
So 2 major differences there from the Emmys as well.
Right. No Modern Family with us.
Mm-hmm. No Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley has no nominations this year with us.
Wow. And Transparent really dropped.
It's a real fan favorite in the forums and people talking about it. So that's quite unusual, especially not to get into like a group of 7 like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, CW is really representing here with Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. That's great.
Yep, they are. All right, let's move on to drama, and we'll start with the guest acting categories. Right off the bat, we've got Jermaine Clement from Legion, Brian Tyree Henry, This Is Us, Gerald McRaney, This Is Us, Ben Mendelsohn for Bloodline, Dennis O'Hare for This Is Us, and B.D. Wong for Mr. Robot. So we're very similar to the Emmys. We have Jermaine Clement there instead of Hank Azaria.
Okay. Last year, our winner was B.D. Wong, who the Emmys snubbed for season 1, but now the Emmys did nominate him for season 2.
That's right. And the drama guest actress, oh, you're going to love the first one, Gillian Anderson for American Gods. Alexis Bledel, The Handmaid's Tale. Laverne Cox, Orange is the New Black. Ann Dowd, The Leftovers. Carrie Preston for The Good Fight. And Allison Wright for The Americans.
That's a really good category.
It really is. We have 2 differences there with Gillian coming in and Carrie Preston coming in. And so not exactly the same as the Emmys there.
Right, and I'm glad to see The Leftovers popping up for Ann Dowd.
Who won that one last year?
Last year was Ellen Burstyn for House of Cards. And then the Emmy winner, of course, was Margot Martindale, who did not get a nomination with us last year.
That's right. And didn't get one this year.
Right. It's my turn now, right?
Yep.
Okay, so this is supporting actor in a drama series. And last year's winner was actually Kit Harington, Game of Thrones. And we should mention Kit and the rest of the Game of Thrones people are not eligible this year, but they will be back next year, I'm sure, in full force. So this year's 6 nominees are Christopher Eccleston for The Leftovers, David Harbour for Stranger Things, Ron Cephas Jones for This Is Us, John Lithgow for The Crown, Michael McKean for Better Call Saul, and Jeffrey Wright for Westworld.
Michael McKean, I'm so glad to see him in there, and I don't understand how they keep overlooking him at the Emmys. He's well known. He's been in television since the 70s.
They're clearly watching the show because
they're clearly watching the show. I don't understand.
It got a writing bid. It got a directing bid at the Emmys. So I can't figure it out. So let's do drama supporting actress now. Last year's winner was Lena Headey, Game of Thrones. Again, she's not eligible. We have Millie Bobby Brown for Stranger Things, Vera Farmiga for Bates Motel, Chrissy Metz for This Is Us, Tandy Newton for Westworld, Aubrey Plaza for Legion, and Winona Ryder for Stranger Things.
So we're vastly different on this category. We have only three of the same. You got to love Vera coming in there. Aubrey Plaza is a real fan favorite, and then Winona Ryder is as well. So that's quite an interesting group.
Yeah, I'm very happy that Vera's in there. And again, will there be a vote split between Millie and Winona? Just wait and see.
Well, moving on to drama actor, we've got Sterling K. Brown, This Is Us. Rami Malek gets in here for Mr. Robot, not at the Emmys this year, even though he won the previous year. Bob Odenkirk, Better Call Saul. Matthew Rhys for The Americans. Kevin Spacey for House of Cards. And Justin Theroux for The Leftovers. So we've got two major differences there, Rami and Justin.
Last year, Rami also won with us in addition to winning at the Emmys.
And then drama actress Carrie Coon, The Leftovers. Claire Foy, The Crown. Elizabeth Moss for Handmaid's Tale. Kerry Russell for The Americans. Evan Rachel Wood for Westworld. And Robin Wright for House of Cards. Pretty similar to the Emmys. We've got a real favorite on our website, Carrie Coon, getting in here.
Instead of Viola Davis. I don't know what I'm going to do when I'm making my votes, because I absolutely loved Carrie Coon, but Elizabeth Moss just, to me, gave the performance of the year. So it's going to be tough.
Who won this one last year?
Robin Wright won last year for House of Cards.
Okay.
Yeah,
that was a great season, that season. I think several of us are predicting her at the Emmys.
Yeah, I think you're right. If I remember correctly, that was the best season of House of Cards, and this current one was good, but it didn't seem to have the same amount of buzz.
Well, you got drama episode. This is a fun one.
Yes, best drama episode. The nominees are Better Call Saul for the episode Chicanery, The Leftovers for the Book of Nora, that was the series finale, Stranger Things for Chapter 7, The Bathtub, Stranger Things for Chapter 8, The Upside Down, This Is Us for the pilot, and Westworld for their finale, which was called the Bicameral Mind. I think I'm pronouncing that right.
I got to, Damon Lindelof won this category last year for The Leftovers and won a bunch of times for Lost. So he's dominated this about as much as Amy Poehler has dominated her areas.
Right, and it's funny because there's two Stranger Things episodes in there. None of them are the pilot, which is interesting. So, I mean, to me, if I was predicting what would win, I would probably guess The Leftovers. But I don't know if that's what I will vote for.
That would be probably a safe prediction based on what we just talked about with the love of him.
And the love of The Leftovers, which they got a ton of nominations.
They sure did. Well, you've got drama series. This is always interesting.
Right, and last year's winner, as a reminder, was Game of Thrones. So this year, the 7 nominees are The Crown, The Handmaid's Tale, The Leftovers, Orange is the New Black, Stranger Things, This Is Us, and Westworld.
So really, just Orange is the only difference. House of Cards in at the Emmys, and Orange is in here. Orange has been a favorite on our website for a long time.
We have The Leftovers here over.
Oh, and The Leftovers. Yeah.
Better Call Saul is snubbed with us.
Yeah, it is, and that's after getting episode, actor, supporting actor. That's interesting. And Kevin and Robin get in for lead actor and actress, but the show can't get in.
Those must have been the 8th and 9th place shows. It must have been, because you can't have that much love down in the lower categories and then not.
This is the first time we've mentioned Orange the entire time.
Oh, interesting.
No acting nominations. Even Uzo, who's beloved on our site.
It's funny because the season that aired, I guess, during our voting is season 5, and that was a phenomenal season with the riot. But that's not the one that's nominated. It's the one that was before that.
Right, last summer.
Mm-hmm. So I think I'm going to do this one next, right? An ensemble.
Yeah, we've got 3 categories that aren't at the Emmys, and we really enjoy presenting these and coming up with the potential nominees and so forth. And what the one you're about to do, Ensemble of the Year, can be any drama, comedy, movie, mini, variety show like SNL. It could be any any ensemble that you feel is worthy.
Last year, it was won by The People versus O.J. Simpson. And the nominees this year are Big Little Lies, Feud, Betty and Joan, The Leftovers, Orange is the New Black, Stranger Things, and This Is Us. It's interesting seeing Orange here because, as you just mentioned, they didn't get any acting nominations.
But they keep winning the SAG Ensemble. Maybe they'll win this. It's let's see, what is it? 4 dramas and 2 miniseries. So no Veep, no other comedies. This is very interesting.
No SNL. As soon as you said that leading up to this category, I'm like, oh, it has to be in here.
Mm-hmm.
No Saturday Night Live.
No. 4 dramas and 2 limited series. So that's and no Fargo. Speaking of limited series, so quite interesting a group there, I think. Well, another of our fun categories is Breakthrough Performer of the Year. This is somebody that really made such a leap in their television careers and awareness that they get nominated here. We come up with a list of 30 between Marcus and Daniel and myself, and then let you pick from those. So it's always a great group every year. It's always tough to figure out who's going to come through and be the winner this year. And who was the winner last year, by the way?
It was Rami Malek won last year.
And I think the year before was Rachel Bloom. So it's that sort of quality, that sort of a name brand that you see breaking through here. 6 nominees are Millie Bobby Brown, Ryan Tyree Henry, Catherine Langford, Chrissy Metz, Issa Rae, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge. And another thing I love about that group, look at that 5 women and, 1 girl, 5 female and 1 male.
Wow, that's so interesting.
So women have had a huge breakthrough on television in the last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good category. I like that one.
And then you've got Performer of the Year, which is somebody, we don't have an exact standard, but for me, when I vote, I'm looking for quantity. In other words, maybe somebody that had a lot of television during the year, a couple of shows, or they were just all over the place, or quality, or both. In my case, I go quantity and quality. I'm looking for somebody that just really made a difference on television in both ways. Some people just go quality and some people just go quantity. So,
yeah, some of the people that we nominated are just in 1 show and some of them were in multiple shows.
Right. And Sarah won last year, right?
He did. Sarah Paulson won Performer of the Year, and she was very happy to find out when she won. So I think this one actually means something. Not that the other categories don't mean something, but this really means something special to whoever will win. And to these 6 nominees, it's Riz Ahmed, Alec Baldwin, Carrie Coon, Donald Glover, Nicole Kidman, and Elizabeth Moss.
Wow, it's 3 men, 3 women. I was surprised Kate McKinnon didn't make it. You would think somebody voting for Alec Baldwin would be voting for Kate McKinnon because you kind of pair them up in your mind.
The fact that he was on Match Game could have helped him over her because she kind of only has the 1 show.
Could be. And, in my mind, when I think about it, too, it's not just, like a scripted role. I think about, they're always on talk shows or they're always on, other places, too, not just where they're playing characters. So, you see Alec way more on television, just on talk shows especially, than Kate hardly ever is on a talk show. Mm-hmm. So that might have played into somebody's mind.
And I will add, some categories are going to be really hard for me to pick the winner, who I want to win. But this one, how could you not give it to Carrie Coon? I'm just going to say right there. If you vote for someone other than Carrie Coon, something's wrong with you.
I don't know. I mean, you said yourself you thought Elizabeth Moss might have given the performance of the year. She just has the one role, but still.
Yeah.
And then Donald Glover. Some people give credit. I think Tina Fey won a time or two. Some people give credit, even though it's not performing, if somebody's like writing and producing and doing all kinds of other things. So a Donald Glover, that really would fit him.
Right.
It's a fun thing. Let me pull up the, and this will all be part of the post, but just to let you know, the overall leader this year with 9 nominations is This Is Us.
Wow.
Read through this on the numbers. Leftovers and Stranger Things have 7 each. Westworld has 5. The Crown has 3. Handmaid's Tale has 3. Orange has 3. Veep also has 9, and that's without ensemble. That's really strong. And the only time it's ever won comedy series was last year.
Oh, wow.
So let's see. In terms of nominations, Kimmy Schmidt is at 6, Master of None 5, Atlanta 4, Blackish 4, Fleabag 3, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend 2. Limited series, just like the Emmys, where we all think it's this one or what I'm about to say, A or B, tied with 8 apiece are Big Little Lies and Feud. So
that's going to be a tough category at the Emmys because I don't know what they'll go with. I think it's one of those 2, though.
Well, same with probably Jessica Lange and Nicole Kidman. I mean, it just feels every time I come up with an argument for one, I can counter it with an argument for the other one. So it's a fun year. And like we said earlier, we're going to launch the event in just a moment where you can make your actual votes. And you'll have all the way up until September 3rd to vote. So if you make them now and you want to go back later and change them, that's no problem at all. And then we'll announce shortly before the Creative Arts all of our winners from this year. And the full list will be on the homepage in just a few moments as well.
Yeah.
So thank you, Marcus. Sorry, Daniel couldn't be here, by the way. He was on the road today, and he got stuck on the road, and he just couldn't get back in time. So we're sorry, because he's always here with us and working on this project.
Yeah, he'll be there with us when we announce the winners, though, in a month or 2.
We're going to tie him down that day, so he does not miss that. Well, thank you, Marcus. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Have a great evening.